Hello, people. Welcome to Interior Analysis. I am your host for this episode, Jelani T. Kelly.
I'm Evan Westman.
And I'm Angel Michele.
And today we have a special guest with us, Darius from Elden Ring. No, it's not really him, guys. It's not really the boy Darius. It's my little brother.
Hi guys, I'm Jaden Kelly.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
being a guest.
Absolutely.
I've known him since birth. So, yeah, today we're doing the Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat 2, released last week as of us recording this. I think we saw it the 9th. It was out probably Thursday night. So what's that? The 8th, 7th, 8th. Directed by Simon McQuad, written by Jeremy Slater. And they credit the creators of the franchise as well, Ed Boon and John Tobias. Starring Carl Urban, Adeline Rudolph, and Martin Ford, and many others. I don't want to go down the whole list, but I'm not doing box office and budget this time because it's only been out a week at the point of us recording this. So this was obviously, since it's a new release, our first time, well, my first time, everybody's first time seeing it. Only saw it the one time, had a blast. I was cheering during it like it was a sporting event, especially during that Liu Kang and Kung Lao fight. The sound design of the hat whirring in the background as they continued to fight within was just the best. Honestly, most, if not all, of the fight scenes were great, and Shao Kahn was the best character for me because almost every time he was on screen, somebody was getting clapped. I love intimidating characters like that. So, those are my initial reactions.
So I agree with the fight scenes. A lot of the fight scenes had me on edge, especially with the fact that there were stakes whenever someone like Shao Kahn was on screen. And even like someone like Jax's like death had me a little like shocked because I didn't expect him to die right there, right then and there. And just like the sudden jump of that kind of like kept me on edge in every fight. It's like, well, we actually don't know how it's gonna go. We like this character actually could die. Also, I have to say, like, mention the music. Honestly, I feel like the music in the fight scenes really contributed to that like feeling of my heart jumping through like every motion and every move. I was kind of like on edge, like like especially during the Kung Lao and Liu Kang fight, which I also agree was the best fight. Every time the hat was coming by and the orchestra would kind of like hit that high, it's like like every time it's like every time the hat would come back. I must say, one of my initial reactions is that for me, a lot of the characters didn't look like how I expected them to look. Quan Chi being one of them mainly. He kind of looked a little like a gremlin to me. But certain
Which one's Quan Chi?
The Necromancer.
Yeah, he's pale.
Oh,
He got
the
the eye
one that
makeup on, right?
Yeah.
Kano calls Pennywise at the
Yes,
end.
yes, yeah. So he was definitely a little creepy. I also really like how they incorporated the one of the like Revenant storylines, which we can talk more about later. But that's one of like the traditional storylines. So I like that they're going back to the source material with that a little bit. Other than that, I think it was pretty good overall. I enjoyed myself definitely.
I had a little familiarity with the games, like I was telling you guys before, but I was more of like a Street Fighter guy, Soul Calibur. I played a lot of Injustice in high school. So like I'm familiar with like the fighting game setup, so I loved all the parts where it was set on like a definite fighting game stage. The Liu Kang fight with the big swirl in the background. Yeah, no, that was so cool just cuz like for the staging. Like I love when they do side things like that. Like the side view, it's so cool. I was really into the costuming. I thought it was really, really good. I was not a big fan of the first one when I saw it, so I didn't go into this expecting much. I thought it was like a weird approach, the way they were doing it, where it's like, oh, who is Louis Tan in this movie? Who the fuck is this guy? And like nobody knows. And I'm like, I think everybody thought he was going to be Scorpion, and then he definitely wasn't. And like, it wasn't that I wasn't into the idea of like going in with like an audience surrogate character because it's super common and it kind of makes sense. But when I saw the trailer for this one and I saw they were kind of doing that with Johnny Cage, I'm like, oh, this is probably the way they should have done it in the first place.
Yeah.
Is like
Mhm.
go in with a character that people already love with like a very heightened personality. Somebody who's like fun, kind of a jerk. Like that's very common too, but there's a reason it's done over and over again. Like for the most part it works. And so I thought, "Oh, this is what the first one should have been." So I figured they were kind of just going to ignore the first one. So I was really surprised when Louis Tan showed up in the movie. I don't think he was in any of the trailers or the marketing. I was like super surprised. I thought he just wasn't going to be here, but he's in like a good chunk of the movie. And he was like
I really
pretty
want to
good
talk
here.
to that one person who was like, man, I really hope they bring back Cole Young for the second
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Like,
He
does
wasn't
that person exist?
it was just crazy. Like I honestly I was concerned. I thought like did they do the thing that they did to Kelly Marie Tran in Star Wars and just like make him come to school, but like that's it, and like he still has to be here, but he's not going to get to do anything. But like he at least
They
got
give
some
him a
cool
fight scene at least.
They
Like
give him a
he at
fight
least
scene.
has a fight scene.
They gave him a fight scene, but they also gave him the fight scene where like he's going to die. There's no way that he can't die. It's like 40 minutes into the movie. It's against the main villain. He's going to die. So I'm like, okay, at least we get to see his powers. And his powers are cool. I like getting to see
They
them more
changed
than
it.
like
Mhm.
yeah. I like getting to see
But-
him more than like the 5 minutes we saw in the first movie. So that
Mhm.
was fun.
And obviously,
Um,
no shade to Louis Tan. Like, I don't. None
No,
of that is
Louis
his
Tan-
fault. He's
Louis
fine.
Tan's incredible.
Everybody
Yeah.
agrees he got screwed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Louis Tan's a great actor. I really like him in other stuff too. I liked him in he's in Wu Assassins, which is like not one of my favorite shows, but like the martial arts are really, really good. He's
Oh,
really great in
gosh.
that.
I saw the effects for that in the trailer, and oh,
The
boy.
special effects are not good, but the fights themselves are really good. They're well choreographed, in
Mm.
my opinion, and they're a lot of
Okay.
fun. I really like martial arts stuff, so it was cool getting to see that stuff. But he's great in that. I really thought he gets screwed over in the first one, and it was cool that they brought him back here and at least gave him a little bit to do before they killed him off. And I'm looking at the cast list right now, and after 5 years, they still have not made a Wikipedia page for Cole Young. He's the only cast member here whose character doesn't have a Wikipedia link, and it's so funny.
Oh my gosh, it's
Um,
been 5 years.
Yeah, it has been. Which, like, I'm surprised it also took them this long, because I don't think the first one even did badly box office wise.
Well, it came out in April
It
2021,
it
so
flopped
like,
in the theaters, but streaming saved it.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
makes
one of
more
those
sense then.
like coming out of pandemic like box office whatevers. It's like, okay, is that a success given where the world was at right then?
It's
Who
hard
knows?
to tell, yeah. Yeah, I mean, either way though, it was fun. Overall, I liked the movie. I had some story issues that I'll talk about in my topic more. I think it's meant to be more of like a love letter to the game and like the vibes of it rather than like focusing too much on the story because there's so much lore and stuff you got to fit in there. Like I think they did as much as they could, and given that the first one didn't do so well, they kind of had a lot of work to do to like set up all this new stuff, add in the lore that they didn't touch on in the first game, figure out like where their focus was going to be, and they had two protagonists. So like there was a lot to do. Like I think they did kind of as much as they could, and like this didn't need to be 3 hours, so they didn't overstay their welcome or anything. Like the length that it was at was like I think perfect. I never got bored really, except during maybe some of like the talking scenes, but like there were enough fights where it didn't really matter. It was really cool. Evan, you're up.
Yeah, well, you took a couple of my biggest overwhelming reactions, namely, how was this not the first movie? Like, I think there must have been something behind the scenes because I don't know when that thought first struck me watching it, but I was like, this just feels like what you would logically make the first movie. I don't know if we're ever going to find out, but like, is anyone going to go rewatch that after this? I mean, maybe the Kellys will because you guys are big fans. Like, does anyone like that one better? I almost was thinking like they could have taken like the Suicide Squad approach to this, where they were like, yeah, first movie happened, sure, but let's pretend almost like it didn't. And they don't fully go there. Like they honor the events of the first movie to some extent, but I think you could very easily come into this one having not seen it.
Oh yeah, it's not reliant on it or anything. I think if
Yeah.
anything, you'd only be confused if you played the games and like you knew that Cole Young wasn't a character, and so you came in like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, for
Right.
that you have to see the first one. But other than that, like, he's not at all a main part of the story, so it's like fine.
Yeah, and maybe like why is Scorpion dead and Sub-Zero, I guess. Or maybe that's not a
Yeah.
question if you know the games. I had a really good time with this. I think partly because my expectations were like not on the floor, but the first movie was just so forgettable. There was nothing like egregiously bad about it, but it just has nothing going for it. And I walked out the theater like that was a shockingly good time. I would rewatch it, and I'd even see the third movie, which I assume they're gonna make. I'll praise the
Yeah.
Liu Kang Kung Lao fight again. Awesome. And the rest of the fight scenes were pretty good too. I think a lot of it is just like they brought it for this one. Like if everything was at like 40% for the first movie, everything's at like 70% for this one, which turns out makes a huge difference. It's not going to be like near my favorite of the year, but like the fact that I liked it at all was a pleasant surprise because I was honestly surprised to see that it's the same director because it doesn't feel like it. I was like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. Like they have some sauce here, so maybe he just got a lot better, or there might have been studio.
Is it a different writer?
I'll check.
I don't.
It's more than just writing, though. Like you
No,
can
it's the
actually
same
see
writer,
the
too.
fight scenes. There's choreography there. I enjoy the characters to some extent, and yeah, the script is better too.
Yeah. Ooh,
I-
no, I'm
I-
sorry. It is a different writer. It was two writers on the first one too, so having one, I think, probably helped focus it a lot.
I mean, that's who's credited. That may not be. A lot of times, that's not indicative of like how it actually went. That there's like a very weird process I know that happens, especially on a big project like this, where like the credited writer might have been one of 20 people they brought in.
That's true.
Who are the writers for the first one?
Greg Russo and David Callahan. Dave Callahan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was a lot of. I know for the first one there had to be some studio meddling.
Yeah, no, for sure. You could easily see it. I guarantee you, like picking Cole Young as a protagonist, picking
Yeah.
like somebody that nobody knows, adding in
And the
that
whole
mystery element, that
Arcana
was
plotline.
definitely a studio note. Yeah. Also, setting a lot of it in the real world, because like kind of jumping off what you were saying, where it's at 70%. I like that they kind of do that by like really jumping into the lore. Like you're getting lore from the start. Like you're setting up Katana's whole world, all of that stuff. They're really setting up the tournament, but like the fact that it starts off in the real world, I can't remember. No, in like their world instead of our world, is really interesting because I feel like the first one probably didn't do that, and it didn't try to ground itself as much. Like it leaned into the fact that this is like a weird multi-dimensional, fight to the death tournament basically, and like everyone's on board really quickly, which I thought was really funny. It takes 2 seconds for Carl Urban to be like, okay, like. This guy shoots fire. That's cool.
Yeah, as far as the powers, like him having never seen powers, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fine though at this point. Like I almost feel like the other thing I was comparing to was the Dune movies, where it's like part one introduces the world and doesn't have a ton of plot. That's not, I think, what they were going for with the first one. Like I feel like there's some fear on the studio side that like, oh, this is too much for audiences. I was remembering something Hassan said on our episode about the first one. I think he said something like they are trying to make a movie that like a lot of people will like, and they should be making a movie that a few people will love. And it seems like I think that was definitely the approach for the first one, was like broad appeal, let's bring in new people. But I don't feel alienated by this second one, and I don't think I would have. Like he presented it as, and this is like not shade to Hassan's point there, but like he presented it like a binary, and maybe that's how they thought of it. It doesn't seem like you need to choose. Like this felt like it was a good fan service movie, but like I enjoyed it as a non-fan. Maybe not everybody feels that way. I don't think they made like a super compelling story, but they made a fun Mortal Kombat movie. which the first one is not.
No. Well, there's no tournament in the first one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get really
Like,
mad
how
about
the
this.
hell do you
Like,
not do the tournament?
Fighting
in the
games aren't
first
even like my
movie?
go-to, and I get so angry that there's no tournament in the first one. And it's not even like really setting up this one either. There's just no tournament.
Well, and they
It just
keep
doesn't
talking about
happen.
it. They're like, "Oh, we gotta train for the tournament," which never happens.
Yeah. And then like how long has it been since the first one? Because now it's like, okay, so is this right after? Is the tournament happening now after like it's been like a month? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, text crawl might have helped.
yeah. They had narration, just put it in the narration if you're gonna do narration. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
it's fine. Yeah. Also, side note, Katana's really cool.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I
She-
enjoyed her as a character too, and also her fight scenes are cool.
Yeah, I like Adeline Rudolph. I think she fits the character well from what I know of her, which is very little. But like, she brought a lot to this too. Like, she's got a lot of screen presence. So does everybody too. Like, I still love that they brought back a lot of the people from the first one. Like the woman who plays Sonya, Jessica McNamee, I think her name is. She's great. I really like Makad Brooks and other stuff. He's on Supergirl. Toddy Gabriel, like, just the cast, everybody they pick, I think, fits really well for the type of character they're playing. I don't know how well that translates to, like, the game characters, but as far as, like, the type that they're going for, it works great.
Well, speaking of, let's get into my topic, connection to source material. It deviates pretty heavily from the source material. I'll start off with that, aka the video games. For those who don't know, the Mortal Kombat movies are based off of the Mortal Kombat video game.
So there's not a Mortal Kombat book I can read? I'm so disappointed.
There are comic books
Yeah, there actually are a few.
if you like pictures.
I can't read, so.
Oh, this is great for you then.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing that it deviated. I personally don't need it to follow the story one for one, as long as there's the tournament, which we already discussed, the realms, as well as the characters that we recognize are there. I think there's a lot of different ways to tell the stories. Even in the games, there are non-canon spin-offs. The only one I'm recalling is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. There's probably others.
There's also Sub-Zero Mythologies, which
I
nobody
thought that
likes.
was canon though.
Well, I mean, it's canon, but it's a spin-off.
Yeah, it's a spin-off game because it's
Yeah.
not like a mainline
It's a
fighting game.
it's a 2D. It's like a 2D platformer where you play as Sub-Zero, and it's really hard.
Yeah, and then there's Special Forces, which
We
is
don't talk
the
about that.
universally
We don't talk
hated,
about that. Oh,
most
God.
universally hated Mortal Kombat spin-off game. But Shaolin Monks, an action adventure game with a different telling of the games and characters. People are have been begging for a remaster of the OG or a sequel. People have just made mock-ups and everything of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks Fire and Ice, so it would follow Scorpion and Sub-Zero. The first movie was sorely missing the tournament aspect, as well as the unneeded Arcana plotline, so I'm glad they changed both of those for the sequel. So they added the tournament and removed Arcana.
So, wait, what is Arcana? Because now I'm curious.
It was just made up for the first movie.
Oh, right. I
okay.
feel like you
Yeah,
guys.
that makes
I feel like
sense.
you told me in the first
No, I
episode
forgot
that
about
wasn't
that.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we get our powers. No, there
No,
are
it's
plenty
not.
of other ways.
Oh,
that
okay.
they
No,
get
no,
their
I understand now.
powers.
Okay, but so like in the games, I figured they just have powers. They don't
Yeah.
like
Some do,
have to
and
earn
some
them.
go through stuff, kind of like comic books where the superhero will go through like an event and gain powers. Certain characters do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I remember that being a huge source of contention in the first one. People were upset because like why do they have to sit there and like earn their powers? Like they could just have powers. I get it with like just the main character, like if his powers haven't developed yet, but everybody goes through that arc and it takes up a lot of time from what I remember. And you know what that time could have been spent on? The
The
tournament.
tournament that we don't have.
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat tournament.
Not to like completely rehash the first movie, but like you could make a good character arc out of that, and they just don't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm wondering what studio exactly, what movie they just watched to be like, well, we need that in there because the audience is like that. Like,
Well, I think
maybe it
some-
was. It could have been any given superhero movie. Probably like maybe Shazam. They were like, "Oh well, Shazam or does he need to do that?" I haven't seen Shazam. I shouldn't have picked a movie I haven't seen. But
Wait, you haven't seen Shazam?
no, Cancel me
that's
for it
crazy
later.
to me. I don't even like Shazam
No,
that much,
it's not
but it's
cancelable.
crazy to me that like you haven't seen it. I agree with you though, Evan. Like it could be a good character arc, but I think this is something that ensemble movies don't always understand. They either give nobody a character arc because they can't figure out where to focus, or they try to give everybody a character arc, which is I think what Mortal Kombat 1 was trying to do. Like it tried to give at least our main few characters like Sonya, Jax, Cole, all of them had to get power. Kano also, and like Kano's like a dick the whole time, so Kano doesn't really need a character arc. Like, so you're just when you set it up like this, you're just kind of waiting for everybody to get their thing, which again leaves no time. Like if it was like a 3 hour movie, that would be fine, but nobody wants a 3 hour Mortal Kombat movie. I don't think. I mean, unless you guys are huge fans, maybe you do, but I feel like that would just be a lot.
Depends on the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and these games give us good stories and character arcs from what I understand in it, and work it around fights. Like that's like the point of a fighting game. So the fighting game movie should also do that, or at least just focus on one character. Like Cole Young is set up as the character that should be earning and figuring out what his powers are. Like nobody else is. Like Sonya didn't need a character arc in the first one because I felt like she didn't change personality wise and it was all still fine. She just eventually got powers. And I gotta be honest with you,
Her
I
whole
forgot.
thing was just like, you're a woman, you can't be in the tournament.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jax's character arc was getting his arms ripped off.
Having skinny arms, I was just thinking
He's
about
in the
that.
bag. He's like, I
Bro,
can't do
what
it. I
if-
My
can't
arms
do
are too
it.
skinny.
Bro, what if he didn't get his arms ripped off? Does he not get his powers? What's happening? It astounds me. I cannot. It's like that thing where they think that trauma itself is a superpower and it's
Mhm.
not. That's literally the epitome of it because he literally gets limbs ripped off and then becomes, I guess magic gives him, yeah. Also,
So I guess they
before
watched
forget-
Split before writing it. That must have been
They
where it
must
came
have.
from.
They must have. Also, before I forget, Jelani, because you've brought this up, they got rid of our favorite thing, which is the birthmark that he was born with.
That.
I thought that was Arcana. It's not the same thing.
I think it is Arcana, but they don't talk about it in this one at all. I don't even think we see a birthmark on him because I think it was like on his arm or something.
Remember,
I don't remember seeing it. I completely forgot about the birthmark until I remembered the trailer. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the best part of the trailer.
remember, yeah, in the trailer when his daughter or whatever says,
Don't do it.
uh,
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
"Oh,
have
it's
to now."
it's his dragon birthmark," and Jax goes, "What does that mean?" She says, "It means he was born with it."
Yeah,
I mean, their quip game got slightly better in this one, but not much. That's one point of the writing I won't praise. Is like,
yeah,
Jax's
I think
line
the act-
specifically could have been better.
yeah. But some of the acting helps. I feel like.
Yeah,
Too. Like
They're
Carl
trying.
Urban brings it. What's it? Kano, Josh Lawson. He's great in this. He's the best. He's the best part of the humor aspect. I think just because he's so funny and charismatic.
like I'm thinking of I still found it funny when they told Johnny he's gonna die fighting Baraka. Like they stayed on that
Yeah.
a little too long, but it was cute.
Yeah, Johnny will
Um,
definitely die. Yeah, he will die. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They fly now.
Oh, one thing I did like actually that I noticed as I was watching in the theater, because like I actually went by myself to the theater for the first time in like 9 years, so I was able to just focus on the movie and not like talk to the person next to me. But I noticed with the humor, they don't do that thing that they usually do where it kind of breaks character for them to just make quippy Marvel type jokes. They do it kind of once with the birdseed thing, but every other point, every bit of humor, every joke that everyone makes, it's not just a joke, and also it fits with the way that their character would react to a situation. So you don't have characters from like other realms that are like Shakespearean's not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Like
more
Shang
like
Tsung,
old,
Quan
like
Chi,
yeah, like old
Shadow.
school. Like they're not going and making like dumb Iron Man type jokes just
Mhm.
because that's what audiences will recognize. If that happens, it's coming from somebody from our world, like Jax or Sonya or Johnny. Like it's coming from people that level of humor would make sense. Every other time something funny happens that is caused by a character, it's situational. And so like they managed to nail that and not make it cringy, and I really appreciated that.
Like
That's
Cole Young getting his head popped. Sorry.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
was he. What's
That was-
crazy is he would have won if Shao didn't cheat. That's insane.
That yeah, that's insane. Like he was really cool.
That's
His
very
powers
on
are
brand
sick.
for the games, though. They Outworld always cheats. That's kind of their thing. They
Yeah.
always cheat in the
Oh.
tournament, always.
So as Jaden was saying, invasion is a big part of the games, specifically Shao Kahn attempting to invade all the realms under his rule, or you combine them. He canonically does cheat outside of the tournament, and I love that they include that. The immortality thing, though, deviates from the source. I don't know why they did that. Shinnok's amulet is supposed to free a different character, Shinnok, the god of death in the Mortal Kombat universe. The amulet gives him this power or something, and regular characters, I think this was introduced in MKX, but regular characters aren't supposed to be able to wield it without it affecting them or harming them. Kind of like the Infinity Stones. In MKX, I think Melita tries to use it and her arm is burned or something like that. So yeah, that was a strange change. I feel like they could have either created a new item for that or given that like to a different item. Shinnok's amulet isn't used for that.
If he's the god of death too, they could have even incorporated that into the immortality thing. Something like if you wield his power through the amulet, death can't touch you type thing. Like that could have been really easy to make work if they wanted to like simplify the lore or something.
Maybe. Yeah, but they didn't explain it like that. They
No.
Oh yeah, the whole it was worse because they took the charge. It like you had to charge it with Raiden's essence or whatever.
Which
Yeah.
makes no sense. My life juice is leaking. No, no, it's not.
I did think that was a cool effect, but the whole thing I'm like, okay, is he gonna die? Is he
Yeah,
not gonna
like,
die?
He better not
Like,
have.
Yeah, I would have been so
The way
mad.
they executed that was really confusing because at 1st
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, he's dying, that's why he has to like rest or whatever. But it's like, oh, so it's because his power leaked out. So if they destroy the amulet, his power will get sucked back into him and then he'll have all his powers back. But at the beginning, like when they first cut his neck open, it's not sucking in the power yet. So
Also,
I don't
Raiden
understand.
canonically, and even in the movies, like it doesn't feel like they're following their own rules. He's immortal.
Mhm.
That's why he's not participating.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
how is he dying if like that makes no sense. And even if he does die or if his body dies, his essence always comes back.
Well, doesn't he
Um,
give his godhood to Liu Kang at some point? I heard about that part.
That's
Of the
in
lore.
MK11.
yeah, that's later
Okay.
down the line. Mhm.
That's
Got
much
it. Okay.
later. Also, his body floating.
Oh yeah, when he was sitting there like
It
this.
His floating body. Yeah. Oh. Also, is this like a lore thing? Did Liu Kang die?
We don't
Yes.
know.
I'm really fucking confused.
We
because
don't
he
you
know.
mean
turned
in the
into
movie?
fire and
Oh,
disappeared.
He said, "I understand it now. I'll be back in the next one."
Yeah, we don't know what happened. Like
I forgot
even
my
us
contract
as-
isn't up.
I better go move my car before I get a parking ticket.
Also, it's wrong because Liu Kang is supposed to be the one to defeat Shao Kahn. Why didn't they make him the protect? I don't know. As far as characters go, everyone kind of stayed close to the source. Shang Tsung is conniving. I think they should give him more screen time. I don't think he's been given enough screen time. The only thing he did in the first one was suck the soul out of Kung Lao. But in this one, he's kind of just
There.
there. Quan Chi is a necromancer weirdo. I think my brother and I both agree the best rendition of him was from MK9. We didn't care for his like raspy, whispery voice in this. He's more confident and less of a weirdo
Mhm.
in the games. Shao Kahn is a menace. Shao Kahn was just great. Katana is a goody two shoes. She always betrays Outworld because Shao Kahn forcefully adopted her and everything.
But yeah, I was confused because I thought she was a good guy, and then then she was part of the bad guys. I'm like, oh, I don't understand.
You're still confused, or
No, I'm not still confused.
Oh.
I understand now, but I was
Oh.
like initially I was like I thought she would be with the heroes, but
Mm.
which I guess like it was set up fine for it to make sense. Like, I figured she was going to betray him, like it wasn't a surprise, but I didn't think that was her backstory.
Yeah, that's her backstory. I don't think Jade would have betrayed Katana in the game. She's always down for her bestie.
Yeah, my first note at the top of my list is Jade is trifling.
Yeah.
Because in game, like there's even a sequence in Mortal Kombat 9 where you play as Jade, and most of her chapter is getting Katana out of prison because Shao Kahn put her there.
Hmm.
And that's when she decides to betray Outworld in that moment when Shao Kahn went against Katana, because that's her person. That's her ride or die, basically.
Mhm.
So for her to
Yeah.
like give her over to the Emperor is very out of character for her.
Also, as a character choice, just in the moment, even if you don't know anything about the lore, it didn't make any sense either because Jax had just spared her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
Mhm.
that would have been the moment where it's like, okay, now you kind of figure she's just gonna be on the side of the good guys,
Mm-hmm.
but then she immediately betrays her. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. We didn't see what spurred her to. It felt like we were missing a scene,
Mm-hmm.
like with Shao Kahn. Maybe I get that she's loyal, but we only heard about it. We haven't seen it. The closest we get is a scene after the betrayal, where Shao Kahn's like, "Oh, it's not an easy thing you did. I appreciate that." Like,
Mhm.
we never see that like almost paternal relationship before that, and I feel like we would have needed that scene in between for the betrayal to make any sense.
Even though it was different, I was kind of weirdly okay with it because it gave her character something to do other than just be loyal. In the game, she's normally just, as we said, just loyal to Katana. So she had a character arc. So it was, like I said, something for her to do. As long as she ended up being a good guy anyway, so that's fine. Melina was sorely missing.
Does
So
she
for
die in the first one? She's
yeah,
like the bat type.
no, that's Natara. She's the one with the mouth.
All the teeth and all that.
That mouth.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Was she the same as the guy who wound up being Johnny Cage's Padawan?
Yeah, so the lore with Melina is that she's Katana's twin, technically.
Oh.
Shang Tsung creates her in the flesh pits using Katana's DNA and mixes it with the Tarkatan, and she essentially becomes Shao Kahn's favorite daughter because
Okay.
she's monstrous and does whatever he asks of her. So, yeah, she was kind of missing for her to be in the first one and for Katana not to be in the first one. And then for Katana to be in the second one and for Melina to not be in the second one, it didn't really make sense. So I don't know what they're doing there, what they're going to do. Melina fans are rabid to a psychological fault. Like they need to be mentally checked in on because they make threats and stuff like that. If Melina, that happened, was it MK11?
MK11.
MK11 back when Twitter was still Twitter. Every time Ed Boon made a tweet, Ed Boon is one of the creators. Ed Boon and John Tobias. Ed Boon was the bartender in this. I don't think
Yeah,
our
I did see
theater
that.
understood. Our theater didn't.
I didn't get it
understand.
either,
Mine
but I heard
didn't.
about it after. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Our dad didn't even know. I was like, that's Ed Boon. I was like, who? Yeah, every time Ed Boon would make a post on Twitter, there were Melina fans in the comments. Melina and Jade fans are pretty bad as well. In the comments, there was one time he was like, he made a tweet mourning somebody, and I went to the comments. I was like, please, they can't not for this. And of course, in the comment section, there were people begging for Melina. And they eventually caved and did added her as a DLC character
The very last one.
for that game, which I don't think they deserved because of how assholish they can be.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
No.
Also, to your point, it would have been really easy to bring her back because technically
Yeah.
she's like a clone,
Yeah.
and Shang Tsung has like multiple bodies in the flesh pits. He
Yeah.
experiments down there. So it would have been really easy to bring her back. Like, oh yeah, didn't she die in the first one? Be like, nah, I just made another one. It would have been really easy.
Plus, they introduced revenants, and they were bringing people back in this anyway.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I like how
Um,
they didn't make Kano a Revenant just so he could continue to be Kano.
I was cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been a revenant.
No, I'm saying I actually like that. I think it's really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool. I didn't know anything about Revenants, but I kind of got. I think we'd seen one before that, so I kind of got an impression of like what that meant. So like I understood it, and like yeah, it makes sense to just let Kano be Kano.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
The Revenant thing kind of ruined the stakes, but the games have always been like that. In the 5th game, Deadly Alliance, Liu Kang is jumped and killed by Quan Chi and Shang Tsung. So he and a bunch of other OG characters are not on the roster. But in the sixth game, Mortal Kombat Deception, a few of them come back, including, and I kid you not, a zombie Liu Kang is playable on the roster.
Fire character, by the way.
Yeah, he's great.
Fire character.
He does double damage to the boss. But to unlock him, you have to go to, this is like the story mode of the game, the conquest mode. And there's a specific place, because in the conquest mode, it does like real time, but you can like fast forward through it by sitting on the ground and meditating. So it has like months and days of the week. So in order to get Liu Kang, you have to go to a specific location in one of the realms, and a chest will appear. But it's, I think, a specific day of a month and like a specific day of the week. It's like crazy. It's so specific to unlock them. But I think the only reason people knew to do that is because that was back when guidebooks used to come out. So we had the guidebook, and our dad found it back when you didn't have to pay for characters. As we said already, for the record, we have no idea where Liu Kang went. That's not in the games. Liu Kang is usually the one to beat Shao Kahn, the first one to beat Shao Kahn.
After the Great Kung Lao.
After the Great Kung Lao. The stages were dope, as we mentioned. I wish we would have seen more stages, just in general. The portal and the Deadpool specifically were good. The Deadpool is where Cole Young fought Shao Kahn, the acid place, and the portal is where Kung Lao and Liu Kang fought. And I like the pit stage change.
That's the one with the spikes?
Yeah, normally the pit stage is like a strip of land, kind of like the Deadpool, where, it's 1v1. Yeah, it's like a bridge. And you can knock the other off, and down the bottom there are spikes that are just already there. But the pit stage change was, I think, fine. Sonya versus Sindel, and the way Sindel died, like, I forgot it was a Mortal Kombat movie. I was like, that was gnarly. The Outworld's design was a little uninspired, in my opinion. It just looked like a medieval set. I'm thinking, like, well, where Katana and Shao Kahn fought, but also like,
oh yeah, like Katana's home.
Yeah,
Katana's
like the
home.
town square or whatever. It was very uninspired, in my opinion.
I had an issue with that too, because I actually was thinking about that. I felt like it doesn't feel like a lived-in world. It feels like there's only the square and the castle, and that's it.
Yes.
There's nothing else going on, and that's actually really common in stuff like this, because like, it's expensive to build these sets, but also like you have to then build all this lore. It's hard to like make a world feel really lived in, and they don't make any effort to do it here.
Yeah.
Like they literally only have 2 locations.
Oh, side note, I think it would have, I just thought about it, but I think it would have been dope to see some other races in like the background or something.
Yeah, and some of the animals and stuff they have in Outworld.
There's a lot of other races and freaky looking animals in Outworld. Because it's not our world. So, like, Goro comes from Outworld, the four-armed dude from the first one that Cole beat. Baraka's from Outworld. We saw their Tarkatan clan, so that was fine.
There's lizard people. There's people just walking around on fire.
Reptile, yeah.
Oh, see, that would have been cool. Why don't we see that?
No, we just see humans.
Yeah.
Okay. More money, I guess.
Well, again, I think if this was the first movie, that might be a little more acceptable, because you might be like, okay, they're going to ease that in later. Let's not, like, alienate the normies just yet. If this series continues, we're going to probably look back at this. I shouldn't say this as a non-fan, but this feels like it should just be considered the first movie. Forget the other one. All the lore that you guys are talking about might get built on in 3, 4, and 5 if they get that far.
Hopefully. Outworld in the games has had a few different looks over the years, but my personal favorite has been Deceptions, where like the sky is purple and the ground is rocky and also purple, and there's like lava everywhere. It looked like a terrible place to live, which I think is the idea. But that's all I have. I mean, I went kind of crazy, but you guys have any questions for us for like anything you didn't understand other than the Liu Kang going to get his parked car thing?
I might have, if I had, like, I normally take notes while I'm watching it. I didn't bring my notebook to the theater, so maybe I would have, but it's not a lore question, but like, did you guys feel like there was adequate fan service for you? Did you enjoy the fan service that was given?
Yes. Very
Okay.
much so. Very much so.
The fatalities, the fights. I mean, that's
Even
really what you gotta
even
focus
down
on.
to the way Katana kills Shao Kahn,
Hmm.
that's a fatality from MK11. When she
That I
throws the fans in his
recognize.
heads and she spun them, that's even that, like, down to the certain ways they killed. And also, the way that Liu Kang kills Kung Lao with the hat spinning on the ground, that's also a reference back to Kung Lao's fatality. So even small things like that, even how Liu Kang shoots fire and he lifts his knee, that's a reference back to the original way he used to shoot his fireballs in game. He wouldn't just throw them; he would like shoot them and like lift his knee up too.
He did the flying kick
Yeah, he
too.
did the flying kick. So even like small stuff like that were like fan servicey, like where even if you're watching it and you're like, oh, that's cool, he shot a fireball. To us, it's like, but he did the pose though. So small stuff like that was definitely there.
Well, I like that it was small too. Like I got the sense because I think I saw this first out of all of us, so I get to be the best YouTube commenter ever. But I was going to like text Jelani after it was done. I was like, I didn't because you asked me not to, but I was gonna say I think you are really gonna like this because I got the sense that there was a lot of fan service there, but like I still enjoyed it because it wasn't doing. I feel like the MCU is one of the guiltiest. They're not the only offender of this, but there are a lot of like known properties that'll do the thing where they're like, "But my real name is blank."
Oh, you mean like
My
the
name is
Dark Knight
Khan.
Rises?
Oh yeah, take it. You should use your real name, Robin, or like even Wicked did this where they're like, oh shit, she's got the cape, she's got the hat, she's becoming the Wicked Witch. You guys are so fucking hyped for this right now, and it's like. If you didn't know, like everyone knows the Wizard of Oz, so they can kind of get away with it. But sometimes they'll do stuff like that where it's like, oh man, like we're waiting for the audience to cheer, and then the normies like me in the crowd are like, are we gonna move? What the hell is going on with this? And I didn't feel like there were many moments like that. The big loud cross cut at the end, I thought it was cool. It didn't feel like fan service though. It was just like, oh, you brought some sauce to this filmmaking, and you guys enjoyed like the leg kick thing or whatever, but they didn't stop the fight scene for him to go like do the pose, and then like it. They just added it in there to be like little Easter egg, which
Oh,
is
the
nice.
dragons too. When he fought Shao Kahn and he had the dragons out,
Oh
That was
curved
yeah,
cool.
around
yeah.
the column.
That
Yep.
was
That's
so
that's a
sick.
newer. Actually, it's not that new of an ability. He used
It's
to
like
be
3D
able
era.
to. Yeah, he used to be able to turn into a dragon,
Yeah,
but
they turned it into making dragons out of
yeah,
fire.
he can make dragons out of fire. And the newer game, it's crazy. I don't know if you guys had any.
Oh, I do have one thing to add. I
Yeah.
think earlier you said Shinnok's amulet like was in MKX, like that's where it started. I think it
No, it
started
was
earlier.
MK4, right?
Yeah, I think it started. Yeah, I was about to say I think it started earlier than that. But yeah, just hashing back on that, that bothered me greatly because like one, it is like holding an Infinity Stone essentially, and two, like where it will burn you or hurt you if you try to hold it, if you're not like of godly potential.
Mhm.
And two, the whole reason it has the power in the first place that it does is because Shinnok is inside of it.
Mhm.
That God is inside of it.
Oh,
Yeah, hence powering
okay.
the amulet. Yeah.
I
So
never
that's
got that
why.
impression.
Yeah,
It felt
exactly.
like it just got charged up with god power from
Yeah, the
somebody. I
God
thought it was just
juice.
like, yeah, it got god juice and that was it. See, that would be really interesting, and it
Right?
wouldn't take as
Right?
much as they think to set it up. Honestly, what's the thing is too, we've had so much Marvel bullshit that they could have made it like Shao Kahn's got like a big almost Thanos energy to him, right? I think audiences would have understood that he would be able to withstand the power had they just shown it be like mildly difficult for him and maybe
Mm-hmm.
showed somebody else try to use it and get burned. Really
Mm-hmm.
easy, really simple. It would not have even taken an entire new scene for that to happen. You could have done it within scenes that we already have. But they just like didn't do that. And I think especially when you're trying to make it as accurate to the games as I think they were, there's corners you shouldn't cut. And I think when it comes to like the accuracy of something like that, fans want to see that depicted well. I think there's a lot of fear from Hollywood about like people not understanding the lore if it's too complicated, but there's simple ways to explain it. So even if you don't get all the intricacies of it, you still understand, well, these are the rules and this is the effect it's going to have.
If Shao Kahn is Thanos, who is Onaga?
Oh, I'm thinking MCU wise.
or just comic wise.
If Shao Kahn is Thanos, Onaga is like Galactus. Onaga's
Okay.
like Galactus. Yeah, I
We'll
Gotcha.
know that.
discuss
Yeah.
Onaga later. I made a small thing for you guys don't have to add to it, but I made a small thing for movie 3 predictions and odds.
Just for maybe me and other normies, when you say like Onaga is Galactus, as in like the next big bad that they're probably gonna go to.
Yep.
Not hopefully not until like movie 4 or 5 cuz there's some other villains they can
There's a lot
and
more build up they have to do
Yeah.
first,
yeah.
right?
Like they got to
Before,
get through
yeah.
their Lokis and their Ultrons first. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Onaga is like a dude who has like it's dope, but you have to like ritual summon him. It's cool. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I'll explain that a little later.
just to give him some aura. Basically, we know Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Raiden. In one of the intro cutscenes of the game,
One of the
he
best.
comes like they're fighting. Raiden's fighting the both of them, and they defeat him like temporarily. And then they hear these footsteps, and they turn, and it's Onaga walking through the temple. Quan Chi and Shang Tsung they look at each other, and they just start trying to team up on him, and they can't. And then Raiden gets up, looks at them, and then joins in, and he's just walking through it. They're all like shooting beams at him. They're sending all this stuff at him, and he's just walking through it like nothing is happening. And then at the end, Raiden uses like the spell to like basically subdue him for a little bit. But
It
even
does
then,
nothing.
he's holding Shinnok's amulet and standing there in the ashes, and all three of them, you have no idea where they went.
That'd be a good opening scene for whatever movie they decide to bring him in for.
It's one
Yeah,
of
right.
because it's right after Deadly Alliance. So like I said, a lot of the protagonists and Earthrealm fighters are dead because
Mhm.
Shang Tsung and Quan Chi teamed up, and Raiden's the only one left fighting them. So they beat Raiden, and then they turn on each other because villains. And I think Quan Chi wins. Yeah, Quan
Yes.
Chi wins, and then Onaga shows up, and he's like, "Oh crap!" And then Shang Tsung gets up, and then Raiden gets up, and they all fight, and they can do nothing.
And that gives rise to a new character who we'll talk about later.
His name is literally protagonist in Japanese.
Oh,
Um,
so Chris Nolan wasn't the first to do that with Tenet. Okay,
No, he was just the first to screw it up, Evan. I'm sorry.
oof. Let's keep moving. Let's go with 2 protagonists first, and then go into character work.
Okay. Yeah. Mine is pretty simple. A lot of movies try to do this and don't do it well. One movie we did that does it really well that I'm going to talk about in a little bit is The Departed. But there's a reason why that structure worked,
You've never
and
seen.
I think you need to pick the right structure for it. So in this case, I went in, I think some of this was the marketing. I went in thinking, okay, Johnny Cage is going to be the new audience surrogate, but he's like a lot more heightened, a lot closer to like the personality that you'd see from a lot of these fighters, and like he's already a fighter, it seems like I figured he was like a martial arts action star based on the context clues from the
Well, it's
hints that I've
Showtime,
gotten.
Angel. It's Showtime.
The what?
I said it's Showtime.
It is Showtime. Yeah. But like that's the context that I knew him from. So I'm like, okay, like this makes a lot more sense for them to kind of do what the first movie was supposed to be, but maybe like build on the lore a little bit more, like almost soft reboot it with him. So I thought we were going to go in and he was going to be our setup. And then we were going to get like slowly introduced to the world. And then it opened and I'm like, "Wait, what is this other place? What is all this shit like with the medieval town and like the tragic backstory?" And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like I'm into this. I like that they're leaning into the lore heavily first, but then I'm like, when does Johnny Cage come in and how does he fit? So I think I was confused initially because I thought they were coming at this from a different angle that was a lot more similar to the first one. This angle's better. I think the problems start to come in because they really set it up like, okay, so Katana should really be the protagonist. She has the more compelling backstory, even if it's been done a lot before. Like, if you do it well, it's great. She has the more compelling backstory. She's already a cool fighter. She has a direct reason to fight the one who is clearly going to be the villain of this movie. Following her the entire time would make a lot more sense. Then they stop doing stuff with her like 10 minutes in, and they jump to Johnny Cage because we're supposed to, have Johnny Cage come in and fight. And then that sets up a whole new story with him, and you have to set up a whole new context for the world with him, which, by the way, I did like. his 80s action movie scene. I thought that was really, really fun.
Oh,
I
with the
love when they make fake
helicopter,
movies.
he shot
the
the rocket
missile
straight
going
and
up.
it
The
went
Kung
up.
Fury shit, and my favorite part was when he jumps over the rocket and it goes up at an
Yeah.
angle that makes no
Yeah.
goddamn sense at all, and then it crashes behind him, and then you see, oh, this is our old sad protagonist, because immediately you can see it's Comic-Con, but nobody is coming up to talk to him.
Mhm.
And they're talking to a bunch of influencers taking selfies, which I thought, given the context that they were in, was a little weird. It felt like they hadn't been to Comic-Con before, but okay.
It felt like a
was fine.
Gen X boomer fan service thing. Like, it's the same
Exactly.
energy as they bring to the F1 movie. It's like, oh, Brad Pitt still got it, guys.
Yeah, kind of. And it felt like they didn't really understand what would be distracting people from this older character. But either way, it was fine. Had it been like separate, these would have both been very compelling backstories, but it does feel like there are parts where they are competing with each other. Like, clearly the Outworld stuff is supposed to be the main thing that we care about. But Johnny has no direct relation to any of that. Katana does. So we should be following Katana most of the time, but it feels like sometimes we'll stop with Katana and we'll switch over and we'll just start hanging out with Johnny and the others again. I don't know. I felt like if they had a storyline where maybe they grew together, like they had time together, that would have been really interesting, but they have one fight and then they kind of don't hang out again until the end. It didn't break the movie for me because I was in here for the fights and the character designs and the lore and stuff like that, and all of that was really fun. But I do feel like we could have had a slightly more focused movie. I don't know if you guys felt that way at all.
I could see that. Like, they have a scene where she goes to visit like the Sky Temple, and they're all out fighting, or they're all out somewhere, and it's just him. And she's like, "Oh well, I came to see Raiden." He's like, "Well, I can't help you. He's not here." And they start talking and having a heart to heart, kind of, where they're both like
Exactly.
talking about their journeys and what they learned. I could see that.
Yeah, and that I think would have made it feel a lot more streamlined. And maybe he would have started to care about the conflict, but he only really cares about, I guess, doing something that matters in his life for once, which is interesting, but it also is completely different from what Katana's going through, because she's got the revenge story going on. So, like, to do both at the same time felt more like something you would do in, like, a TV series. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it didn't feel like something you would do in a movie, and it's handled way better than I think a lot of movies who try to do multiple protagonists do, but it's still a lot, and it's asking a lot for us to switch back and forth like this. Like, it made it feel like they could have spent more time on, like, making Katana's kingdom feel like a lived-in kingdom with real people that we care about, rather than spending all this time on Johnny. Like, Johnny almost felt like he was meant to be more of a side character, kind of the way that Kano is, where he's going to bring in some, like, comedic energy, and maybe they answer questions that he has that the audience needs to know information about, you know, stuff like that, but they also make him a protagonist, so we have to spend a lot of time with, like, his own personal journey, which is cool and compelling. It just feels completely separate from everything else we're doing.
I don't think it bogged down the story. I like that it gave us a reason to keep switching sides and giving us one person to follow on each side. And Johnny's side was obviously used to give us a traditional hero's journey, but this is always how his story goes. He always has no idea what's going on in the beginning, and then by the end, he can fight. And Katana's side showed she's a good person, gave us insight for how the Outworlders operate. So she kind of just gave us a POV. I thought it was fun. But I was thinking about, like, how dope it would be if they did follow the source material. Like, if we had a movie one and Liu Kang was the protagonist, the only thing with that is he wouldn't really have an arc because he's just a good guy off the bat. Kung Lao is usually the one that's arrogant. They have a little rivalry going on. So Kung Lao's journey is to accept Liu Kang as the chosen one. That could have been a really simple way to go about it, but obviously they didn't want that. So, because we had to have Cole Young. So
that feels like a whole other movie too. Like, I mean, I think
it's a different way to tell it. Yeah.
it's a different way to tell. Like, I think the angle they went with either Katana or Johnny would have been fine, but they also like all these things feel like separate movie ideas. Like, they want to build out the series. You could have had any of these on their own be more compelling than two of them at once. Is kind of my point.
Yeah,
You know?
I kind of see it in the sense that, like, yeah, maybe it would have been better to do one character. At the same time, is character what this series is really made for?
Absolutely not.
Right. So, like, I think in a different movie, and I'll get into, like, what I like about the character work. That's my topic. A big strength of this movie is it understands how much it needs, and that I don't think more character work is necessarily better in this kind of movie. Like, Angel, the problems you're pointing to with, like, I agree, their two arcs do not intersect. They are not related. In a different movie like The Departed, that would be a problem. Where you don't have, like, a genre appeal. And it's not a good thing for this movie. Like, I'm not saying that's a good choice. I think it's a forgivable choice in this. And partly, like...
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of justification, like... Because I think the main reason to have two protagonists is to do different takes on a theme. You see that in basically every movie with two protagonists in one way or another, whether it's like Godfather 2, The Departed, or like El Dorado. Those are all doing a theme thing. And yeah, their arcs would be stronger like that, but in a movie like this, I think just the practical reasons of, like, I think, Jelana, you were saying, like, have a POV character on both sides that we like. That's enough reason to do it in a movie like this. You want the audience on board, and just, like, we want somebody we can root for in every fight. And with all of these characters, you're not going to be able to give us, like, emotional investment in every single one of them. So giving us two, I think it in a way it's better than one, because I think you spread out the character work.
Because it's Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. And then you
Wait,
can
so it's going to be 3 in the next one. Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can... Who knows what they'll do with that? But a 3-protagonist story, they'll go where no screenwriter has ever gone before.
And shouldn't, because that's really hard to do.
And maybe shouldn't in a 2-hour movie.
Well, if you can do it with 3 villains, you should be able to do it with 3 protagonists. Like Spider-Man 3.
Yep, indeed.
The greatest movie of all time.
It is the greatest movie of all time. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I mean, The Sinister Six. That would have been really the greatest movie ever if they were built into that.
You can't do that
Six
to the 6
protagonists.
Spider-Man movie, so we got 2 more movies.
Right, yeah.
Next one's got to have 4.
Like I said, I think it would be a problem in a different movie. You can certainly point to this as a bad example of, like, how do you do a bare minimum character arc? But I think there's worse. And I was thinking about, as a comparison, Space Jam 2. Think about, like, I don't know, has everyone in the room
I've
seen
not
that?
seen it.
Okay.
I've seen Space Jam 1. I haven't seen 2.
Spare yourself seeing 2. But think about both of those movies. Like, I think Space Jam 1 understands how much a non-actor like Michael Jordan can handle. Like, they don't try to do too much with him. And then Space Jam 2 tries to do a lot of character work with LeBron. And it's like, sure, in another movie, but it's LeBron. You can't give LeBron a lot of character work. That's not what he's here for.
They're not actors. It's okay
it's
if
fine.
they have limited acting range. It's not what they trained for. They play a sport, and they're great at what they do. That's awesome. It is okay if they're not great at acting. They haven't practiced. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you would have run into that problem. Like, I don't think either of these movies run the sin of, like, oh, we did too much character work. And, you know, Carl Urban and, I'm sorry, I don't know Katana's actor. They are better actors.
Adeline Rudolph.
Yeah, they are better actors than Michael Jordan and LeBron.
Okay.
But
let's slow down there. Okay.
Come on, Evan.
they're at least actors. But, like, so I'm not saying they couldn't handle it. If you have a genre appeal to some extent, like, sometimes that's more important to serve than a good character story. And at least this serves the genre thing. Like, I don't
It's
feel like
about
I missed out on a good
the
character arc here.
gratuitous violence. Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat, the original, created the ESRB rating system for video games. There was no ratings before Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh wow,
They
that's
are the
cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
reason
it's
for
like
the
how
mature
Indiana
rating.
Jones created PG-13.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they are the reason
Mhm.
for the mature rating.
And
That's
also
pretty
to your
cool,
point,
actually.
Evan, one thing that I noticed that I really liked about the movie is that a lot of the dialogue isn't really too stretched. Like some of the lines are like very short, blunt, sweet, and to the point, because they know that the audience wants to see the fights. Like they're like some like
Yeah.
certain lines that I can't think of the line. I should have written it down, but there's a certain line that Liu Kang says that when I was in the theater, I was like, that was weird the way he delivered that. But then in the back of my mind, I was like, do I really care? I want to see him fight.
Right. Yeah. I forget which of us used the phrase, nothing overstays its welcome. Like, I think that is,
I think that was
again,
me.
a strength. I think it was you. That's a great strength of this movie. Again, in another one, we might be like, what the hell were these characters? But as you were saying, Jaden, like, we want the fights, and as long as the dead space is not too long and not too dead,
No,
then
that's a
like
different
that's a good
franchise.
movie.
Dead Space is a
Dead,
different
Dead
franchise.
Space.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
Never
a
heard of
horror.
that.
It's,
Cole Young goes on that list of not overstaying its welcome, and I, for one,
Wow.
was giggling.
wow.
Yeah.
I was smoking
Yeah.
his back.
But like there are much more disrespectful ways to
Oh yeah, no, they.
I was
I think
laughing. Oh my god.
yeah.
they
You're
could have
right.
got rid of him more disrespectfully. Like that's not the
Yeah.
worst way to
He
write
could
him
have
out.
not been in the movie.
It's been
Not been-
done.
But and like nobody would have even questioned it. But I actually like that they gave Louis Tan like stuff to do. I said this
Mhm,
before, like
mhm.
they gave him stuff to do. They gave him I think they gave him as good of a death as they could, because they knew
Mhm.
nobody wants him to stick around in these movies, unfortunately, just from the character standpoint.
Mhm.
They also gave him like a very epic death where he got to like fight and really have a he
And
didn't have a
win.
shot
Yeah.
and win, but he won. He basically
he
won
did.
the fight.
He did.
It's just that Shao Kahn cheated,
Yeah.
and like that sucks. But he at least he went out valiantly, and that's really really cool, and I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
It was also,
Yeah.
unfortunately, really funny.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, honestly. It
I
was
was the
also
only
like
thing-
really quick too.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're not even gonna like have him like die slowly and like say goodbye to his family. He's just gone now. That's it. That's the end.
Oh
Okay.
no. Anyway, last week. Like it's that meme.
He didn't even have time to process the fact that he was about to lose either. He just got his head crushed and it was over.
Yeah. He just said,
Which
what
is
the hell?
insane.
Got flipped on his back and hammer smash.
Yeah.
Uh,
I get what you guys are all saying though, as far as like I do think that Evan, you're right. In a movie like this, it doesn't matter as much. I just think to me, like, if you can I always approach it as like if you can pull off the characters well, all it's gonna do is add to it and enrich it. It's not necessarily gonna like take away from it unless you're taking away like actual time from like the fights. But even the fights, they put in some time to like make each of the fights kind of matter in their own way. Like the big swirly sky fight was cool because like he had to kill his brother, and like that was really heartbreaking. That kind of sucked. We even got the fight with like Jax and Jade, who are like probably two of the most background characters.
Unfortunately,
Like-
them both being... Is Tati Gabriel, is she black?
Yes, I think she is.
Yeah, both.
But at the same time, it also did add to her character arc in this movie, at least a little bit, which was
Mhm.
helpful. And like, unfortunately, they didn't give Jax a whole lot to do. I'm not
Except
totally
die.
surprised. Like, Sonya didn't have a lot to do either, and that was annoying because like I think that she's pretty cool. I also did I say this before? I forgot what her powers were in the first one, and then I'm like, oh, it's Shang-Chi powers. She's got the
Yeah,
Makulan
shoot
rings.
onion rings. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I'm like, oh, she's just like shooting lasers. And in my head, I'm like, did they show us that in the first one, or did
Mhm.
they just make that up?
That's
They
how
did.
she killed Melina.
Yeah, they did.
Ah, okay.
I think it
Yeah.
also helped seeing the having a visual thing of like how many fighters are left on each side. That was a good idea. That's not something
That
that's in
was
the game.
cool. I thought that was fun. I like that because it helps us track things. I think there was a part where I feel like the good guys had technically won more fights, but they kind of seemed down, like almost as if they were definitely going to lose. Maybe it was because he had the amulet or something. I don't know. This is also separate, but adding in the extra storyline in the middle where they're gonna lose, like, because it can't just be fights. Like they had to add in like a connecting story in the middle. So I think that the amulet was as good of an option as they had, and it was pretty cool. Like that they had to then go into the palace and like hunt for this because it got a chance to show them like team up. They had character interactions. It gave us a reason for other fights outside of the tournament. I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Speaking of violence, we weren't just speaking of violence, but back to the other thing. What about what you were going to say about, or what you said to me about Shao Kahn?
Oh yeah. So a couple things about Shao Kahn. So I really like his presence. I like how every time he's on screen, for the most part, there's some sort of stakes. Like one of my favorite scenes is when, because they never really did this in the game, to my knowledge, but one of my favorite scenes is that, for those who don't know, Sindel originally was like married to Jared, who's Katana's father, who we see get killed in the
Okay.
beginning, and she always has been a good person. So when Shao Kahn took over, he killed her, had her resurrected, and basically when she was resurrected as a revenant, they twisted her soul, so now she's kind of loyal to him, even though that's never the way it was. But one thing they did in this movie that they never did was he used her as kind of like a torture point for Katana, where it's like, you want me to kill your mother and make her even worse, which even had me pulled at the heartstrings. It was like, oh wow, I've never seen him do that before. So
Yeah.
that was good. And like I said, every time he was on screen, someone was pretty much dying. But here's like my main two problems with Shao Kahn. One is kind of nitpicky, so we'll do the nitpicky one first. He killed everybody basically in the same way, which was he stabbed him with the bottom of his hammer. But if you go back and look at the fatalities he's done, he
It's
has
insane.
one where he puts his hands through you
The
and
best one
slowly
ever.
pulls you apart as he moves through you. There's one where he grabs you and chokes you and throws you up and then slams you into pieces.
There's one where he knocks you on the ground, and then I think it's MK11, and then he with his hammer swings his hammer into the top of your head, and your head gets blown out of your back.
Yeah, that's MK11. So
I want to
with
see that.
That's what I'm saying. So the variety on his kills was a little lackluster for me personally. Like he just kept stabbing, like it was and
He
then the
killed
head
Liu
pop.
Kang and Jax the same way.
Yeah,
I don't think
and,
that's nitpicky at all. I think that's important.
yeah. And then the other thing was that if you go back and watch the movie, he lost every fight.
Mhm.
He lost every
Except
fight.
Jared. Oh
Yeah,
no,
no, even the
lost.
Jared
He
fight,
lost the
even the
Jared
Jared
fight.
fight, he lost at the beginning because he was getting torn up, and
He
then
was
all of a
getting pieced
sudden
up.
he got some strength and killed him. But every fight after that, he lost, and the only reason he won was because of the immortality thing, which took away from
Yeah.
the character for me because Shao Kahn basically is the Thanos. Like Thanos at the beginning, like to establish some of the power that he had, they had him piece up the Hulk. Like that was like showing like the audience like, oh god, like he pieced up the strong one of the strongest things walking around, like we should fear him. Shao Kahn for me didn't have that same presence initially because of the fact that he was losing, and then even after that, the only reason he had that presence was because he was killing people. But if she removed the kills from Shao Kahn and just had like the fights, and to me he's not nearly as intimidating as I feel he should have been. Like there's certain fights that I feel he should have been dominating,
Mhm.
and for him to like lose essentially, like Cole Young, like as cool as the fight scene was, and I enjoyed how they gave that character something to do, and I liked how they incorporated his powers a little more. Realistically, Shao Kahn should have like dog walked him.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Realistically, it shouldn't have
pretty
even really
easily.
been much of a contest. So for that to be like the case in every fight for him to the point where he doesn't get that dominating personality, that kind of threw me a little bit for that character.
A couple other things I wanted to add to that is one, he is half dragon. That's not something that's stated, but the dude is half dragon. So
Mm.
Oh, that's why he's got the scales and stuff.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
I gave a
Yes.
little leeway when it came to his durability, even with the katana slitting his throat at the end. I was just like, yeah, he's half dragon.
Well, that was in the
Um,
human skin part, right? I feel like.
yeah,
Yeah.
but still, I feel like if you're half dragon, you have a bit more durability. You can take a bit more than a normal human. I gave him a little leeway with that. Also, I do wish he used his powers more. He only pretty much used the charge, but in the games, he's actually a really good sorcerer and probably only second to
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. Quan Chi's a necromancer. In Mortal Kombat 9, the reboot in 2011,
something like that. Yeah.
they bring Sindel back at one point, and he calls Shang Tsung over. He's like, the Empress needs your help. And he takes Shang Tsung, all of his power, and puts it into Sindel. He steals his soul and puts it into somebody else's soul. So I wish they would have shown that a bit more. Maybe it would have been too much. I don't know. I doubt it, because like Jaden said, I think he could have been. I liked his presence. I think he could have had even more of an intimidating presence. And yet he just kept doing the shoulder charge. In the games, he has like a knee. He has a shield.
He throws his hammer.
He has a spear he can create from that same green energy. So I wish I would have seen more from him than just swinging his hammer and shoulder charging.
The actor probably lied at the audition and was like, I can do all these things. And then he gets to set and he's like, look.
My bad
guy. You can't make a spear out of nowhere.
I'm not half dragon. Are we good to switch topics to Evans?
Yeah, I think we can switch to Evans. Yeah.
Well, I've gone through a lot of what I was going to say for mine. So my topic was just enough character work, and I covered a lot of it during the protagonist topic. Something I've said on a lot of episodes is like, there are only so many things in a 2-hour movie that you can like adequately do justice to, so you have to prioritize. And I think number one thing for this movie is and should have been the fights. That's all I really wanted out of the first movie. I was like, I'm not expecting a good story, but like you could have at least given some good fight scenes. So we got those. That was number one. And I think I don't know exactly where character work was on the list. It might have been 2, it might have been 3, but they did just enough with it. We've pretty much talked about all the points I was going to make, like give Katana just enough like motivation for revenge. We've seen it before. It's nothing new, but it works. It gives us like a reason to care. Johnny Cage, pretty traditional hero's journey. We've seen it before, but it pretty much works. Like all it needs to do is just like keep him in the fights, like keep him coming back. And I feel like
that he got pulled back in. I thought that was pretty funny. He said no, and then they're like, you don't have a choice.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and you manage to keep character consistency, but not like, it doesn't take up too much time. Do I fully buy it? No, but like I've seen much worse. I'm sorry to rag on these movies, but I feel like the Deadpool movies are one of the worst offenders of like, oh, we have this character who's this one way and doesn't care about anything, and it's just bouncing around like a Looney Tunes character. But now we need the plot to do something, so he cares for 2 minutes. And there's no consistency, and I'm just like, fine, whatever. This was at least a couple steps above that. It wasn't.
It built
like
up to it. I think it was okay. I think for Johnny it worked.
Yeah, I don't know if I fully bought it, but I was like, fine, you did something there. You did enough, and I want to see this fight scene. So sure. And they bring in his personality a little bit in the one scene with Tooth Guy. I don't remember his name.
No way you disrespected one of my mains like that. Tooth Guy.
Baraka's in Jaden's top 3 favorite characters.
Oh my god.
He's pretty cool. I liked him a lot.
I would have accepted dental appointment too. That would have
That feels more disrespectful.
Yeah. I agree
Smile
though. I
boy.
think like it shows what Johnny's good at, which is the acting part and like pissing people off. Basically is like he knows people well enough to know what buttons to push in a way that I think the other characters don't. So I think that was a good scene too. I agree. That worked.
Yeah, it's again something we've seen before, but it's character specific. So they did something. It's not trying to bite off more than it can chew. Like I think it's wisely scaled. Chewing. By the end of the movie, they're doing their like Avengers group shot, and I was like, I'm kind of here for this. Like they're fun enough.
Next, they said let's go get them, so they have to be going to the Netherrealm, I guess.
I have theories for that.
Oh yeah,
after Evan is done.
We'll do that with the final for once.
Okay.
Yeah, I only had like one other point, and I've kind of said it already. Like if they didn't deliver on the fights, I don't think we would care. Like, this is not enough for most movies, but like, it's enough for this. And I think they knew that on some level. I don't really want more than this. I think, like, real big extra credit points, if they can do what Angel was saying and, like, cross over their two arcs. Like, that crosscut scene at the end with Johnny and Katana, like, in their final fight. I was like, oh, this doesn't really mean anything. There's no parallels.
But it was cool.
It looks cool. I was like, oh, like, I'm enjoying like the
like visually. I'm like,
vibes.
you understood the assignment. You just didn't do the assignment. Like,
yeah. But it's a good papering over of it. It's like, I didn't make a cake, but the frosting's great. And I'm like, sure, I'll eat just the frosting. Like, it's a you made a good frosting.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the guy who goes to the grocery store and just gets Frosties like, oh, yeah, that's the one.
I mean, hey, they sell them individually for a reason.
They do.
There's a market for it.
Yeah. I did like how they tried to make each fight matter, whether it's a tournament fight or a non-tournament fight. You know, they kind of gave everyone something to do, but they didn't try to give everyone an arc this time, which is very appreciated. Like, they knew that, like, only a couple of people get to have a lot of character work. Like, listen, Sonya's here. She's cool. I like her powers. She fights really cool. I like Jax too. I think his powers are cool. But they don't try to give them both character arcs again. They let them be the characters that they are. Kind of the same with Kano. Like, Kano doesn't change. He's kind of like a catalyst type character to, like, help move the plot forward a little bit. And he's funny. And people like watching him. But that's pretty much it. They don't try to do too much. My only thing is, obviously, like I said, the dual protagonist thing. I think it would have elevated it had they at least had some better parallels between the two. Like, had they learned, like, and then the ending cross-cutting might have made a lot more sense. And I don't know, maybe there's a version of this where that was a little clearer, but the thing is, like, Johnny is, like, building up to be somebody else. I think Katana kind of already was who she was going to be. It's more like she's trying to accomplish a specific goal.
There's no change really for Katana.
There's really no change. Maybe like a
confident external goal.
Yeah, maybe like a confidence boost. And here's the thing, it doesn't take away from her either. Like, it's okay for her to just accomplish what she wants to accomplish because she's already the person that she needs to be. It's perfectly okay.
Well, and in that sense, that's, I think, a reason to keep... You guys were, like, saying how Jade is a little different in the games where she doesn't have that, like, arc where she has to come over to Katana's side. Mm-hmm. That's maybe a small reason to, like, give her that, is if Katana's not going to have an arc, at least, like, Jade can change and we can have some development there. Again, not a fantastic character arc. We've seen it before, but it's something.
Also, before we move on, I'm not sure if I said this already, but the characters in terms of look and appearance, only certain ones really hit it for me, like in terms of what I was looking for. Like, for example, I think Shao Kahn looked pretty good.
You mean design-wise?
Yeah, design-wise, like in appearance-wise. I think Shao Kahn looked pretty good, and I also think Katana looked pretty good. Jade looked okay. But in terms of, like, the others, like, Baraka was an interesting take. Like, I'm not mad at Baraka's design because it was different.
But at least it wasn't
interesting.
CG.
Yeah, it was different. But I enjoyed it. Like, even that, like, wild look in his eyes, like, I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
But some of, like Jax doesn't do it for me because, like, he's, like, bald and he's, like, really thin compared to Jax. Jax I see as, like, more of a wide, like, solid kind of guy, like, stocky kind of guy. Sonya's pretty good. Somebody else who didn't do it for me, honestly, in terms of look, was Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage, like, he looked too wide. Kind of like if you guys saw Deadpool 3, kind of like how Channing Tatum was too wide as Gambit. And the same way he, like, looked too wide there, Johnny Cage looks too wide to me. Like, I see Johnny Cage as, like, a thin guy.
I see what you're saying. I think it's just the fact that, like, Carl Urban is not a small dude, and neither is, like, Channing Tatum. Like, they didn't cast somebody, like, I'm trying to think who would be, like, a good version of that who's, like, just got a much slimmer frame.
Somebody, I saw a Letterboxd review saying, like, Glenn Powell was definitely considered for Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Not saying that literally. They were like, oh, I bet he
Mm-hmm.
was.
I could see that looks-wise for sure. And I think he could even pull off the humor. But I think if they're going for, like,
Glenn
action
Howard
stars we know it now, I think that he would have fit maybe more with like an 80s version, but this version would have been around more like in the 2000s, which does make some of the aesthetics of
The-
his film a little dated and
Mhm.
confusing, but it's fine. This is a different world. I don't care.
I
Yeah.
think the point was to make him washed up, so they casted somebody older.
Yeah, somebody who would kind of fit that archetype as modern audiences would know it, and I think that it kind of worked this way. And also, like, we see Glenn Powell, at least I do, as a comedic actor. Like, Carl Urban has done action roles before, so like
Yeah.
So is Glenn
they
Powell.
cast an action star to play. What action roles has he done?
I mean, he's in Top Gun Maverick. He doesn't like fight anyone physically in that, but he's like a well-built dude. You know, or Running Man. He that's an action movie that he's in where
I
he
thought of the
does
wrong
action
guys.
things.
Ignore me. I'm thinking of the wrong Glenn.
Okay.
Never
Howard?
mind. Yeah.
That's who I was suggesting. Dennis from It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny.
Dennis. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, but also like Quan Chi, I think was the worst one for me because I actually am a fan of Quan Chi, like in recent years especially. For him to be like have like that big bulbous egg head, like his head looked like this. For him to have the head like that and then also talk like a gremlin, it was like, eh. It didn't really give that character. Like Shang Tsung was decent and like whatnot, but Quan Chi did was like the worst for me. Anytime he was on screen, I was kind of like rolling my eyes a little bit.
I see.
But like I said, it
Yeah.
wasn't anything that was like took me out of the movie. It's just being a nitpicky fanboy.
Yeah, I get that though. Is that something, Jaden, where like when you go into stuff that you're like a huge fan of, do you go for like really accurate designs like this, or is it okay if like the actor fits the vibe well enough if the design's a little different?
I'm okay if the design is a little different and the actor fits the vibe well enough, depending on what it is and what I'm looking to get out of it. I know that's kind. I know that's
Yeah.
kind of like I know that's kind of like like a weird answer, but it honestly depends on what I'm going to see. Like for example, if it's a superhero movie, I'm okay with more of the vibe than the look. But if it's
Yeah.
like a fighting game movie or something like that, I'm looking more for the look than the vibe. If
Our
that
dad
makes
is the
sense.
complete opposite.
Yeah.
Our dad needs it to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah, like if it fits the movie well and they change up like the look or the vibe, but it fits the movie well, that's fine by me. But for me, Quan Chi is like the one person out of all of them who was like he don't fit the movie well for me in terms of the way like every time I saw him, it kind of took me out of it when I would
That's
see it.
fair.
He
yeah.
has more of a commanding presence in the source material than
Here he was like creeping around.
He's like
and,
he's like a lackey.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's not.
And he's not like you can tell like in the game like the presence he has, he's like conniving. Like Shang Tsung is more like sneaky, like I'm gonna stab you in the back. Quan Chi is like I'm gonna stab you in the front and I'm gonna tell you about it and I'm gonna mail you the letter telling you I'm gonna stab you in the front and I'm still gonna do it anyway. Like that's Quan Chi's presence. So for him to be more of like that gremlin-y, golem-y, like I'm creeping in the shadows, it didn't really fit the character for me.
Also, yeah, in the games, yeah, he's way more in MK9. He gets Raiden to like try and bet the souls of like the Earth realmers that have died in battle already, and he has like 9 of them under his control. It's wild.
And there's a mission where you play as Raiden and you have to fight all of those souls. So you're fighting dead Sindel, you're fighting dead Cabal, you're fighting dead Kung Lao, you're fighting all these dead people that have been on your side or even fought against you, some of them, and you have to fight your way through. It's one of the hardest missions in the game on the harder difficulty because there's so many fights you have to go through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Sorry, I don't have anything to add.
That's all real. No, that's all really interesting though. No, that's great. Yeah. I agree with you honestly on like it has to fit the vibe of the movie, and if it doesn't, like, because there's certain things that aren't going to translate well. Like my first thought that comes is the Watchmen adaptation by Zack Snyder. There's a lot of design choices that changed in that people don't like, but there's some that I think work. Because you can't, everything from an older comic that's supposed to be like set in the 80s can't necessarily work for like a modern action movie that was coming out in like 2009. So like one thing they did was they changed Night Owl's look to be a lot more like Batman-esque. And I think that given the way his design was in the original comic, it would have looked silly on screen for what they were going for vibe-wise. I think it made more sense kind of what they did. Like that's just an example of it. Some of it was a product of the other movie because I think they tried to ground it too much in the first one. So like Jax being a little more like just a standard guy in a tank top was like they already did that, so they really couldn't do
Yeah.
much more. I think they might have been able to like heighten his and Sonya's looks a little bit, but I think if they had given them too much of a costume, then it would have been a little jarring compared to the first one if this like wasn't a reboot. And like I mean Cole gets his like super suit or whatever the entire time,
His
which
plot
is really
armor.
interesting.
His fault, yeah.
Yeah, until it's not
Until
anymore.
it's not.
Yeah. I also like how it covers everything but his head.
Yeah. Like, why don't you just hit him in his head?
Yeah.
Why are you hitting
If
his chest?
If it's
Why
already
does no
going to
one
be
shoot
Black
Batman in
Panther's
the mouth?
suit, at least give him the mask too.
Yeah,
like
right.
if it has
Yeah.
the same power.
It's crazy.
I think part of what they might have been doing with that, in terms of like the more human characters, we have a lot of fantastical looking ones. So I don't think this would have been a barrier for me personally, but for some people who are coming in fresh, they might have been like, let's at least give some like normal looking humans for people to look at. And Jax
Yeah.
already has his arms, so like if this is your first Mortal Kombat movie, Jax isn't even like just a regular guy. You pretty much have
Yeah.
Cole and Sonya and Johnny. So they might have not wanted to like give Sonya and Cole more like flared up looks just yet. Maybe they'll, if they have those, maybe they'll get them in later movies.
They might build up to those. I feel like Johnny's going to have a more elaborate thing in the next one maybe, but I also think his current look works fine.
He didn't have
personally.
his chest tattoo.
Oh yeah, he did.
Well,
That's
we
a
didn't
pretty-
see. I don't think we saw his chest. He did not get a shirtless scene.
Why not?
I don't know.
Carl Urban might be self-conscious about it.
Maybe. So they don't do as many of them anymore. I feel like I'm starting to see a lot of superhero movies that don't have shirtless scenes anymore. They used to be in every single one. I think they might get more heightened looks in the next one, especially if they're doing what I think they're gonna do, which I guess can lead us into the next part if you guys are ready for like predictions. I think they're implying that they're gonna go to like the world of the dead or whatever to get more fighters, probably characters we haven't seen yet. But I don't know the lore, so it could just be bringing back characters we have seen too. I don't know. They're probably gonna like do more with their looks. I don't know if it's gonna be a thing where like they're in story, they're gonna get like upgrades or like new suits, or if they're just gonna start wearing different cool stuff, or like I don't know how they're gonna do it. I think they're definitely moving in that direction as it gets more and more crazy. Like Mortal Kombat 7 could be like the craziest looks we've ever seen, but
Hope we
if they
get
build
that
up
far.
organically, I think it will ease audiences in.
This is gonna sound a little wild, but one of my takes for the MCU that'll play into this in a second is that I think it peaked too early. I think they came out with Infinity War way too early, and that there were at least like one other there's these like should have been one other villain that came before Thanos. And the reason being because it feels like everything leading up to Thanos is one part, and now we're just dealing with the rest. So I feel like there should have been one more thing in there. And the reason why I say that is because for this, I feel like we're going into Revenants too early. Because for us, from a game perspective, when characters were dying in
They
the
stayed
original
dead.
games, they either stayed dead or we were lucky to have them back. Like when Zombie Liu
Okay.
Kang came back, it was like a shocking thing. Like, oh god, like they brought him back as a zombie. To the point where we got to Mortal Kombat 10, and the running thing why Quan Chi was so scary was because not only was he bringing back people from the dead, both friendly and not, he also was trying to bring out Shinnok, the god of death who ruled the realm where they came from. So you had like there's like a scene where Raiden is basically fighting against his sins essentially, where he's fighting his two sons essentially, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. He's getting jumped by half the people who he traded the souls to Quan Chi for in Mortal Kombat 9, and they're all jumping him. So it's like when you first see it in the beginning, and you see, I believe it's Nightwolf and Smoke who you see, two of the good guys who we haven't seen in the movie yet. And these guys, like Smoke was an assassin at first, but he kind of switched over. And Nightwolf is like this Native American fighter who gets like this mantle called Nightwolf. That's actually not his name, that's a mantle. And they've basically been like forces of good. So when you start the story and you see Sonya breaking into like this temple to get the amulet to protect it, and you see them dead, and they're saying because the revenant, like being a revenant, twists your soul and makes you
Yeah,
have
they're
like a
mean.
negative outlook on things. So when you see this like symbol of peace and like he's been protecting Earthrealm for decades, you see him twisted and he's all dark and talking negatively, like, I hate you, I'm gonna kill you kind of thing. It was shocking for us as an audience. So to get that so fast in the second movie, to just, okay, now we're just going to the realm of the dead, it's like, it's kind of like, it feels like I don't want them to peak too early with that, especially when there's
Yeah.
so many characters who we're still missing.
Yeah.
Like, we have like barely the starting roster in terms of the characters in Mortal Kombat, and we're already going into the realm of the dead. It seems like
We
a
don't
fast jump.
we don't even have all the characters from Mortal Kombat 2.
And not even all the realms. We've only seen 3, and one of them kind of got merged together, so we've really only seen 2.
That's kind of fair. Yeah, yeah. For it to matter, even just from like a story and a character perspective of like them bringing these people back, we need to have some form of connection with them from before. But we have to
Mhm.
see them first, and if we
Yes.
haven't seen them, there's just gonna be like, oh, this will only matter if you know who they are in the games.
if
But
you're a
like if they
fan.
just show
Mhm.
up. One thing that I had an issue with actually at the beginning was we have the opening scene, and then the next time we see Katana's mom, she's already a revenant. But
Mhm.
it's not like we
We
need to
don't know
see the
what she
corruption
was
part
before.
happen, but we
Yep.
don't know anything about her before. We know more about the dad who dies in the first scene than we know about her. So I understood it from like a written down perspective. Like, okay, yes, this is Katana's mom. Obviously, this is significant, but we don't know anything about her as a character at all. And so, like, to us, we're not feeling it. So it's going to be the same thing if like more of these other people show up as revenants. Like, we might get a scene with them when they're their human selves, or but not human, but like, you know, their standard selves, like initially before they die, and then when they're their negative death selves, that's just going to be most of what we see from them. So it's we're not going to feel it emotionally.
Correct.
Originally,
Yeah.
the only
Yep.
revenants were Sindel and Scorpion, I think, up till MK4.
Scorpion, definitely. Yes, I think you're
Because
right.
Sindel was in MK3. So yeah, I agree with Jaden. I think they're introducing it too early without a lot of the rosters
The weight.
here. I'm gonna list off some of my predictions and wants for MK3. Villains, Deadly Alliance, or Shinnok. Not both in the same movie, please. I think they
Mm-mm.
both deserve their own movies. Shinnok is the god of death, and he deserves his own presence. Deadly Alliance, the Shang Tsung and Quan Chi as a duo, like I said, was effing stuff up. They killed all of the protagonists. They killed Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sonya, Jax, Johnny, leaving pretty much only, I think, Katana too, only Raiden.
And that also gave, to your point, gave like way to a new roster of characters,
Right.
showing the impact that they had on the games, on from a gameplay perspective as well. Because imagine, like, you've been playing Liu Kang for years, you buy that, you see Deadly Alliance, it's like, okay, he died in the story, he'll be in the next game. You get the next game, you can't pick him.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, wait, that's my
The
character.
intro,
That's my
the intro
yeah.
of Deadly Alliance shows them killing off everybody.
Yeah. So even that significance there, where it's like, I've been with this character for years, and now all of a sudden you're telling me I can't play as them, like they're not there, they're actually dead.
But now the games with the Revenants and everything, and people keep coming back. Now they've had 2 different reboots. There's just a base roster people are expecting now. You expect Scorpion and Sub-Zero every game. You expect Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Raiden every game.
So yeah.
That's why they did the cameo with Scorpion and Sub-Zero this time too. I'm sure it was like they're like, we need to put them in there, or people are going to be upset.
I mean, actually, the reason we are even doing this episode was because of that one trailer shot where, because I had never seen it in the games or any of the spin-offs or any of the comics or any shows. They did have shows. The fight with Scorpion and Noob, where Scorpion does the double change, which is an enhanced move from MKX.
Mm.
That's when enhanced moves were. No, it was MK9 they were introduced. Was his double chains in?
It starts in MKX, but enhanced moves started in MK9.
Yeah. Anyway, double chains into Noob Saibot's body, and the clone comes out in place of him. I was like, that's insane. That's so cool. I gotta see this. And then he does the brutality. It's a brutality he can do where he slices the clone up the middle. So dope. Perhaps they could bring in the Cyber Initiative. Kuai Liang is missing.
Yeah, and that for me as a Mortal Kombat fan is unforgivable because he just mentioned Scorpion. That's his favorite character, always has been. But my favorite character.
No, mine used to be Sub-Zero and Liu Kang were my favorite.
Okay, well, my favorite character has always been Sub-Zero, and preferably there's like it's like a mantle that's passed down. So we saw Sub-Zero. That was his older brother Bihan, who dies traditionally to Scorpion. and then Quan Chi turns him into Noob Saibot, who we saw in the second movie. And then his
Got
brother,
it.
Kuai Liang, takes up the
His younger
mantle.
brother.
That Sub-Zero, the younger brother, is my favorite character. So he's suspiciously absent. At this point in time, like before his brother basically becomes Noob, he takes up the mantle of
Mhm.
Sub-Zero because he has this whole same thing with Scorpion where he's like, I'm gonna kill you because you killed my brother. And he's like, and Scorpion's like, I got no beef with you. You didn't do anything to me. And they end up fighting. And then Bihan comes back as Noob Saibot, and then it creates like this whole triangle where they're like fighting each other. So it like for him to be absent, it kind of like takes away from Scorpion's whole story to me because he's kind of part
Right.
of it.
So I was saying that to say the Cyber Initiative could be a cool story for them to tackle. I don't know if it's enough for its own movie. The Cyber Initiative, the Lin Kuei, which is where all of the Sub-Zero, the Ice Ninja, that clan, they do a whole cyberization of the clan where they turn them into Mortal Kombat has everything. They have cyborgs. They turn the ninja into cyborgs and they become ninja cyborgs.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Sector, Cyrax, and Smoke are missing. They were in MK3 as well. I think we were saying before, I think it's a bit too soon for Onaga to come in, the Dragon King. Plus Reptile from the first movie, he uses Reptile's body to come back, and Reptile's still dead. So they would have to bring Reptile back first. But Reptile didn't really, I don't think he spoke in the first. I think he was just Lizard in the first
He was
movie.
just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he gets his heart ripped out by Kano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. More of the other realms I want to see. We always get Earthrealm, Outworld, Netherrealm, and sometimes Edenia, like the beginning of this movie.
Sometimes Chaos Realm too. Not too much, but it's there.
It was only there in the recent DLC for MK1, right?
Wasn't it in Shujin? No, it was in Shujinko and busted.
Well, I'm about to get to that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the movies have a chance to do the games, something the games have been skimping on as far as the realms go. You can visit the other realms. There are 2 other realms that do not get the same love as the other the 4 other realms go. The Order realm and the Chaos realm have been sorely neglected through the source materials since my favorite Mortal Kombat Deception. And one of the best ways to see those 2 realms is to explore the realms in Mortal Kombat Deception, the Conquest mode I've mentioned, where the main character is Shujinko.
And his ability is to see and steal powers.
You go. It's the
So
game.
unique.
The Conquest mode is essentially a tutorial where you learn how to fight as the other characters. So you're training with everybody, and he gets 1 power from everybody.
So he's Kirby. He's that one move
Yes.
that Kirby does.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
And other characters that I think it's possible to see in the next one, that I would like to see in the next one: Melina, Ermac, Kenshi. People thought Louis Tan should have been Kenshi, and I thought that's a great idea.
He would have been fantastic as Kenshi.
Kuai Liang, Sub-Zero, as I mentioned. Havoc and Hotaru. Havoc is from Chaos Realm. Hotaru is from Order Realm. Nightwolf, as Jaden mentioned. Shiva, Kintaro. Those are both 4-armed monsters like Goro, the Shokan. Motaro, who is a centaur.
Mhm.
A cyber centaur, because his tail is metal.
Again, can shoot balls of like energy,
Yeah.
and he can teleport. Don't ask me why.
That's so cool.
Uh,
See, I love crossovers of like magic-esque stuff and
Yeah.
like technology. I always think that's really fun. I started reading the Dark Tower series a while back, and I had to get further into it. But like that's something that does. Like there's robots and there's magic.
You would love Root of All.
Yes, I started reading it. I told you I started reading it. I've been very busy, but I do like it. It's very, very good. I love the robot arms.
Yeah. And then Smoke, Sector, Cyrax, Tanya, Fujin, who is Raiden's brother. No mention of him.
Fun fact, by the way, Shinnok actually is also a fallen elder god, so he's the same type of god as Raiden and Fujin.
Well, Raiden's a lower god. He's not an elder god.
Oh, not an elder god. I'm sorry, a lower version. Like they're gods that the elder gods assign, and
Yeah.
Raiden, Fujin.
There's like
and
different
Shinnok.
tiers.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes,
the
yes,
elder
yes,
gods
okay.
are supposed to be the top tier until they introduce Titans
Yeah.
in MK11. But yeah, the elder gods are like they're the ones who organize the tournament. So
Mhm.
like their
And
invasions can't
Raiden
just
and
happen.
Fujin and Shinnok used to report to them until Shinnok did some bad stuff and got banished and whatever.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Well, no, Shinnok was an elder god.
Oh, he actually wasn't.
No, he wasn't assigned to anybody. He
Oh,
was
he
an
was an
elder
elder
god.
god.
at
Okay,
it.
okay.
So,
If we're looking at it in like traditional mythology, initially the elder gods were like gods, and then
Yeah.
Raiden would have been like sort of like in a demigod-esque role, but he's still
Yeah.
a god.
yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, I get you. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
yeah. The Kamidogu are still missing.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was necessary to introduce it in this one. And Kamidogu are the realm's essence. There's 6 of them, so they're Infinity Stones. But yeah, Fuji's missing. He never gets the love he deserves.
Ever. Fujin never gets attention.
He's a wind god. But that's it. Sorry, that was a lot of lore, but we don't usually get to go this in depth with Mortal Kombat is my top 3 favorite IPs/franchises ever. So yeah,
It's interesting. I like it. I definitely want to look more into the lore now.
I do think
Yeah.
I'm coming in having no knowledge of the games. From everything you're saying, it sounds like they have just like tons that they could go into. I would expect they are going to. I think some of it's going to actually depend on how successful this movie is, because like I think we've seen multiple approaches taken to other worlds like this. Some of them, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I know sometimes if there's not enough faith in the source material or like the brand recognition of the series, they'll just be like, screw it, we're doing everything. First movie or like first 2 movies is just, yep, all of it. Put it all in there because we might not get a second one.
Mm-hmm.
Or you take the MCU approach of, we're going to really ease this in. We're going to like do one element per movie and not alienate anyone. And it seems like they're kind of...
And now they have too many elements.
Yeah. Well, too many for like a newcomer. If you're getting in, like people have said forever, like don't make Infinity War your first MCU movie. This would have been a good first movie for Mortal Kombat. I don't think it would have been too much. It might have alienated some people, like no shade to them, but it would have alienated my family. They would have been like, this is too weird. But a lot of people who are like, they have the benefit of, there's a lot of fantasy movies that have been out there. I think people are generally willing to accept, and there've been a lot of video game movies to like bolster this as well. And I think this seems like it's being successful enough that it'll continue video game movies being made for a few more years. Like this was not a flop, but I think we could very easily get a 3rd and 4th at the very least. And at that point, I guess we'll see where video game movies are at and how well those 2 movies do.
They're getting better.
Yeah. Over time.
Yeah. Any adaptation, honestly. I mean, like, you have Fallout. Fallout's super, super good. I have to watch season 2, but it's, like, very good. Like, they're really killing it with the adaptations the last few years. Like, the
Street
curse is
Fighter,
broken.
Sonic surprised me. I went to
Sonic is
see
good.
Sonic 2 actually before I saw the first one. And when I sat in the theater, because my friend worked at a movie theater in college, so he just had me and a group of people just go see it, like in an empty theater, which was pretty cool. And when I saw it, I was like, why is this? I turned to my friend, I was like, why is this actually kind of good? I was like, why is this actually pretty good?
Yeah, it was, like, surprisingly solid, the first one. I haven't seen the other 2, but, like, they're not bad.
I hear
And,
the
like,
third
I
one's
don't know
I hear
why-
the third one's good.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten
I have heard that, too.
another Pokemon movie. We got Detective
Yeah.
Pikachu, and they never did anything with it, and it did well.
Detective Pikachu is also very good.
Are we done?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, we.
I don't have any predictions because I don't know enough. Like,
Yeah,
I just
same.
know, I think they're gonna go to the Netherrealm and find more characters, but I think the weird thing is it feels like they're just gonna do that. They're doing that to build out the roster when that element, like you guys said, should be coming when we're having characters come back that we already know and care about. But there's no characters that we know and care about that are like really, really gone. Maybe Jax.
Jackson, Liu Kang. I'd like to see
And
Liu
Liu
Kang
Kang.
back. He's cool.
Yeah, I was
But
about
we
to say.
don't know if
are
he's
we,
dead.
Yeah, are we predicting
We
that
have
we're
no
gonna find
idea
Liu
where
Kang?
he
Like,
is.
I don't think
Where-
he went
where
to the
is he?
Netherrealm.
Where is he? Are we gonna see him in Mortal Kombat 3? Like, is he gonna be there?
I think so. I just don't know what happened to him this time.
I would give Mortal Kombat 3 a 10 out of 10 if he just came back in fire and was like, I have returned. I never explained it. I give it a 10 out of 10.
No, I give it.
Where'd you
10 out
go?
of
The
10.
writers didn't tell me.
There-
They never told me.
There's a normal cop dude in the game called Striker.
Don't bring up Striker.
No, the only
bring
way
up
I don't
Striker.
like Striker as a character.
I-
He's just a cop.
No powers, no
No
nothing.
powers,
He's just a
no
guy with a
nothing.
gun and a baton.
Whoa,
He's
that's
a cop.
crazy.
And he's beating four-armed
And his-
monsters and all kinds of stuff.
His
People from
intro
Outworld.
in MK9 is police brutality coming up. I'm not kidding.
What?
I'm not kidding.
What
Oh
year
my
did
God.
that come out?
It was
Because
2011.
like
so,
that's rough whenever.
yeah.
But there are
so
certain
bad.
years where that's more tone deaf than others.
And he forgot to mention that before he says it, he pulls out his gun and shoots it twice in the sky, and then puts it in the holster and then says that.
The only way I would forgive,
Everybody stop resisting.
the only way I would forgive Stryker's involvement in any of these movies is if he was played by John Cena, because I think that would be funny.
One of Stryker's fatalities involves him simply taking a grenade, handing it to you, turning with his arms crossed with his back to you, and then just waiting for the explosion.
I think I've seen that.
Well, there's one
I
where
could
he
also see John Cena doing that, and
I could
being
see
like,
John
"It's
Cena
fine.
doing that.
It's fine. It's John Cena. I'm okay with that."
Yeah.
I forgot that he was in the Bumblebee movie because I did not like that movie very much.
He
but then I'm
was?
like watching
Yeah.
clips of it. Yeah, he's like the main guy, and he's like super
Main
self-aware.
military
He's
guy.
like, why do we trust the bad
The
robots? They literally call
Decepticons.
themselves Decepticons.
Yeah.
He's like the audience guy that's in there, and he's like, why is nobody listening to me? I don't understand. And like, he makes that funny. The rest of the movie is just not memorable at all, but he
Yep.
is.
Yeah, I never saw it.
John Cena's
Oh.
so great. I love John Cena. I also hope that he's not problematic, but I don't think he is.
Yeah,
Yet.
hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Speaking of casting, though, I have a question for all of you. Do we think, because I think the first movie needed a Carl Urban, and it's good that we got one here. Do we need another, like, named actor that we can put on the poster for
I
the
think it
third
would help.
movie?
Yeah,
I think it would
I
help
think at least
sales.
one. I
Yeah,
think at
to
least
pull more
another
people
one.
in.
yeah, at least one more at the very least.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
I'd say
I
one
mean,
more.
we didn't really have one in the first one at
Dude.
all.
What if Iko
Um,
Uwais was playing Quietly Game? The Raid.
Oh,
Dude, that would be sick. I love him.
That'd be good. I don't think he's putting that many more butts in seats.
No.
At least maybe
I'm
not
just
in
thinking of
America.
cast. I'm just thinking of casting.
Yeah, I do appreciate that they're getting like fighting actors rather than just like let's throw who. Or are they all fighting actors? I kind of assume that they are because they aren't names that I know.
Keanu
But-
Reeves as Melina.
okay. We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot.
Keanu's been in enough other things, although this feels like it wouldn't be out of step for his filmography. I feel like to.
Him as
No,
Kenshi is a
but he's
little
got to
too
play the
on
right
nose.
character, otherwise it's distracting.
Yeah.
And I think John Wick is too much part of his brand now. Like, I don't think we've seen him in fantasy settings, but I don't think we've seen him in a fantasy setting since probably 47 Ronin. And nobody particularly liked that movie. So,
Okay, we've been going for 2 hours. Anything else? Anybody? You got any more notes you want to? Okay,
No,
guys.
I'll watch the third one. I
Me
like
too.
this one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a
Oh,
lot of fun.
one more thing. I do
I
have
wanna
one
see
more
Street
small
Fighter.
thing. That's what I was about to say. One more small thing. One, this makes me excited for Street Fighter. And two, I like how when a fighting game movie throws in the special moves practically, like in the middle of the fight. It's not like a build up the whole movie to use. Liu Kang use the fireball. At the end, he's like and he does it one time.
Well,
He's
they
using
did
it
that with
throughout
the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah.
Hey, Cage Fighter Dad, use that one punch that every cage fighter knows how to do, an uppercut. She had to remind him to use his uppercut.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's like, hey, Dad, use your jab. What?
But I'm very excited for the Street Fighter movie as well because this movie did well or decently well. So
I did see the trailer for that, and I'm like, oh, this looks very stupid. I like it. I want more of this.
Some
This
of
is
the
all I
casting
want.
is insane.
And I'm more familiar with the Street Fighter lore for a very stupid reason, and it's because of all of the Street Fighter sketches from Pete Holmes on YouTube.
I showed him those.
yeah.
Yeah, they're so funny, and but because I've seen those so many times, I'm a lot more familiar with that lore than I am with Mortal Kombat. I want a version of that with Mortal Kombat. I feel
Yeah,
like that
that'd
would
be
be
fun.
really fun.
All right, you guys. Evan, you want to?
yeah, I'll wrap us up. So, our upcoming episodes, we have The Boys Season 5 and Daredevil Born Again Season 2. We'll probably, I don't know which order we're going to put those in. And then we'll also be doing The Odyssey, will be another upcoming release that we're doing.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, but that's not until July.
Yeah, so we might be able to get another one in between the 2 TV seasons and that. But those will all be upcoming. We're on YouTube, we have our video essay channel. We're on Patreon with bonus episodes, including a watch along for the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. Just me and Jelani on that one, but I enjoyed that.
I watched Cosmonaut's video about it, and I almost thought of watching it before we jumped on here, but I didn't have time.
So we're on there. We have Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at INTAnalysisPod. I'm on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at ev_Wes. Where do we want to throw Jaden into the plugging socials order? Do we want him going next, going last?
Sure. I do have an art page where I draw all kinds of characters.
He puts a lot of work into it, guys. Please follow.
Yeah, anime, fighting games, comics, whatever. So it's at Igwim Creates, IGWM_creates on Instagram, TikTok, and also YouTube as well.
Nice.
I'm on Instagram at Jelani T. Kelly. I'm an actor, so if you want to hire me. I don't know why I pointed at the microphone.
Do you still not have a letterbox, Jelani?
So,
Jelani?
I'm on
Make the
Letterboxd at
letterbox.
Jelani T. Kelly.
Hey,
I'm
you got
seeing
one! Finally! Wait, did you actually?
Yeah, last night.
Yes! Okay, we finally got it.
Yes.
This has been
So
like
I was gonna
6
say,
months.
I'm literally. I think I'm seeing you tomorrow. I was just taking your phone.
Yeah, I put like 4 movies up there. I think both the Raids, Into the Spider-Verse, and Black Panther. That's it.
Okay,
Fair.
I'll follow you after this.
So there's that. You're welcome.
He looks so excited, doesn't he, Evan?
Yes. Not as if he was coerced into doing this at all.
No. His own decision, of course.
Yeah.
How dare you make me tell people that I like movies and then tell them what I like about those movies? Fuck.
Yeah. Okay, we finally got him there.
So I have always been on Letterboxd at Serenity Cinema, and now Jelani and I are going to be friends. And I'm also on Instagram at angelmichele.film. Follow me on those, please. I'm so lonely on social media.
Nice.
No, don't say nice to that.
No, I wasn't saying nice to
I
that.
know.
I delayed reaction. Nice.
Evan
Lonely on
enjoys my
social media.
loneliness.
Killing it. All right, yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Smash that like button like you're doing a fatality.
I ended with fatality.
Okay.
We just lost our 7 fans, Evan.
Okay. Well, we can build them back. I hope. Yeah. See you guys next time. Mortal Kombat things.